Welcome back to All Things 80s and welcome to day 3 of the Christmas countdown. So, according to the history books, the number one toy in 1987 was the Koosh Ball. And I have to Google what that was because I have absolutely no memory of Koosh Balls. And having looked at it, it looks to be possibly the first ever stress ball. Who knows? But by all accounts, this was the number one toy. So, given that it looks pretty uninspiring to me, I've gone ahead to take a look at what other toys were available for Christmas in 1987. So let's just go ahead and take a look to see what else was on offer. So first things first, the electronic games were pretty nondescript. I mean, Astro Wars I had already in the early 80s. The board games, uh, if anything, I would like Crossfire certainly. Ghost Castle I keep mentioning. Now, even Lego had kind of lost its way a bit in 1987, and the classic space Lego, as I knew it, was very much on its way out. I guess the Technic stuff was quite good. I honestly don't remember Constructs at all. Now, Action Force, again, was still very much the G.I. Joe Action Force that I was not into. Um, This stuff, I have no idea what that is. I mean, Starcom, never heard of it. The Transformers were still popular, but certainly on their way out. Laser Tag, I certainly like the look of. Now we're talking Mask. Definitely would have chosen those for my Christmas if I was getting toys in 87. In fact, Mask was still popular enough to occupy 2 pages of the catalogue. Now, this is just the girl stuff, which is of no interest to like 99.9% of the viewers here. Uh, Infant toys, nothing of interest, obviously. Now, again, chemistry set would have been something I would have liked, maybe even a microscope. And there's, of course, Mr. Frosty. But snooker table, always a good gift, and Suburio. Yeah, so that was it. So, in all honesty, 87 was probably the last year we had any sort of decent franchises being represented in the form of Mask and Transformers. So I guess we could say 87 was probably the last really good 80s Christmas. So, in terms of my Christmas memories of 1987, again, there were no toys involved. I do remember getting a new driver and putter for golf. I got golf shoes, football boots, sweaters, socks, candy, chocolates, etc. But I promise the next episode will be the first one, and continuing as we go back in time, that will feature a lot of great toy memories. BBC One, Christmas Day 1987, started at 7 a.m. with Children's BBC and a show called Ziggy's Gift. Don't remember that. Next up, 7:30, we had Play School. 7:50, we had Panto Time, and it was Aladdin. 8:10 was Umbrella. 8:30 was Songs of Praise. So that would have been, as a kid, that was a big letdown because that was always a rather boring show for a kid. 9 a.m. was Christmas Morning with Noel, which was always a good show. 10:30 was Christmas Readings. Then at 10:35, the Christmas Morning Service. So at this point in time, I would have been busy playing with my new toys, or as it happened in 87, looking at my new golf clubs. 11:45, Christmas Morning with Noel. Is that a repeat? Let me see. Because so the 9 o'clock showing was from Telecom Tower in London, and the 11:45 showing was Join Noel for a morning of family reunions, Christmas jollity and festive fun. I guess it was a different show. Anyway, 12:30 Porridge starring Ronnie Corbett, excellent comedy. 1:10, Julie Andrews in The Sound of Christmas, and it was her first Christmas special apparently. 2:05 was the Top of the Pops Christmas party, never missed that, followed by the Queen's speech at 3. 3:10 was EastEnders. So I think I mentioned in the last episode, I didn't know when EastEnders came out for the first time, but obviously it was around in 87. Wow. At 3:40, the movie was Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. Excellent. 5:35, we had the news. 5:45, we had Russ Abbott's Christmas show. Very good. And then at 6:25, we had Only Fools and Horses. 7:25, oh, wonderful. Christmas Night with the Two Ronnies, my absolute favourite. If you've never seen the Two Ronnies, go on YouTube. It's probably the best comedy ever done, in my opinion. So following the Two Ronnies, we had at 8:15, we had Miss Marple in the 4:50 from Paddington. Now, I don't know if that was a movie or just an episode. Let me see, 8:15 until... Yeah, it must have been a movie because that lasted until 10:05, when we had In Sickness and in Health, which, again, I mentioned in the first episode, was a character called Alf Garnett. 10:35, we had the news with Moira Stewart. 10:45, a movie called Terms of Endearment. Don't know that at all. At 1:55, we had the Gospel according to St. Luke. Then at 1 o'clock, we had the weather, and then we were done. So the top 10 pop charts at Christmas in 1987 were as follows. Number 10 was Shakin' Stevens with a bizarrely titled track called What Do You Want to Make Those Eyes at Me For? Number 9 was China in Your Hand by T'Pau. Number 8 was Heaven is a Place on Earth by Belinda Carlisle. That's a good song. Number 7 was When I Fall in Love by Nat King Cole. Number 6 was The Way You Make Me Feel from Michael Jackson. Number 5, Love Letters by Alison Moyet. Number 4 was When I Fall in Love by Rick Astley, which I believe was a cover of the song at number 7 by Nat King Cole. So to have the same song in the top 10 was quite weird. Number 3 was Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree by Mel and Kim. And that is not Mel and Kim, the female duo. That was Mel Smith, the comedian, and the beautiful Kim Wilde. This is one of my favourite Christmas songs. Number 2 was The Fairy Tale of New York by the Pogues featuring Kirsty MacColl. And at number 1 at Christmas was Always on My Mind by the Pet Shop Boys, which is rather disappointing because, in my opinion, the Christmas number 1 should at least be a song that mentions Christmas. But anyway, that was the top 10 at Christmas in 1987. So time for a quick look at the comics and magazines that I enjoyed as a kid. So for the Christmas editions, the Dandy was a cover featuring Desperate Dan trying to put a big massive Christmas tree into his house, and it was entitled The Special Christmas Issue, and you'll see here that it was 20p. Now the Beano, which was also 20p, features Dennis the Menace and Gnasher making snowballs and throwing snow at Walter. No puns, no great titles on this one. And for smash hits, we had Wet, Wet, Wet on the cover, making a mess of the Christmas spread. Posters in this edition were for Rick Astley, the House Martins, Johnny Hates Jazz, and Pepsi and Shirley, who, if I remember rightly, were the backing singers for George Michael's Wham. Also mentioned in this edition, Five Star, Madonna, Public Enemy, and Michael Jackson, with special mentions for Pet Shop Boys, The Proclaimers, Def Leppard, Alison Moyet, The Cure, Depeche Mode, and Level 42. And there was a free badge with this issue. So those were the Christmas editions of 1987. Why is your job just like Christmas? Because you do all the work, but the fat guy in the suit takes all the credit. So that was a look back at Christmas in 1987. So tomorrow, obviously, we'll take a look at 1986. So thank you all for watching. Special thanks to the Patreons. Please like, please subscribe. Stay tuned for more videos from All Things 80s and see you tomorrow for 1986.